Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
We begin tonight in Mansfield, where some are wondering about the future of Greek life at Mansfield University. Now, this comes as Mansfield merges with Bloomsburg University, and that school did cut ties with its fraternities and sororities. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst finds out what Mansfield University plans to do with its Greek life.
Good evening, Ann. Questions about the Greek organizations at Mansfield were raised after Bloomsburg cut ties with their fraternities and sororities. One spokesperson I spoke with at Mansfield told me the frats are not going anywhere. The 6 Greek organizations at Mansfield University will live on following the integration process with Bloomsburg and Lock Haven universities. Initial questions about the school's Greek organizations appeared after one of the merging schools, Bloomsburg University, cut ties with their fraternities and sororities. Bloomsburg's decision stems from a wrongful death lawsuit filed several months ago regarding a freshman who died during a fraternity rush party back in 2019. When asked about the Bloomsburg situation, a spokesperson for Mansfield University released the following statement. Fraternity and sorority life has enhanced the educational experience for thousands of students and will continue to be an important part of the vibrant college life on campus. The spokesman added that Mansfield Greek organizations over the years have donated over 5,000 hours of community service and raised over $80,000 for charity. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
New York will drop its mask mandate this week. The public health order had been in effect for more than a year. Sharon Crowley spoke to New Yorkers about whether they feel encouraged or wary about this change.
By the CDC guidance, immunocompromised people, unvaccinated people should continue to wear a mask and social distance. But if you are vaccinated, you are safe. No masks, no social distancing.
Governor Cuomo adopting the new mask guidelines issued last week by the CDC. It means Wednesday, fully vaccinated New Yorkers will no longer have to wear a mask indoors.
I think everyone's been waiting for it at this point, so yay.
I'm tired of the mask myself, but I think everybody needs to use their own, caution, depending on the situation.
Masks are still required on public transit, in nursing homes, homeless shelters, correctional facilities, healthcare facilities, and schools. Mayor de Blasio says implementing the CDC guidance is the right move.
I think it's balanced. Now, we're going to watch carefully, always. We're going to watch the data. If we think something needs to be adjusted, we'll say it, and we'll work with the CDC and the state. But right now, I think it's good guidance.
But this is going to really start to bring people back. It creates a sense of normalcy and security that you just can't have when everybody's wearing a mask.
Catherine Wild is the president and CEO of the Partnership for New York City, the city's business leadership organization. She thinks removing masks is a critical step for rebuilding the economy here.
New York City's recovery absolutely depends on people coming back to the office, feeling comfortable there, restoring confidence. And it's also going to help the removing the masks on vaccinated people is an incentive for everybody to get vaccinated.
New York released additional guidelines for local festivals and fairs throughout the state. The Department of Health must approve any event with more than 5,000 people expected to attend. The state suggested fairs and festivals require attendees to provide information for contact tracing and implement health screenings. Events may also require mask wearing or proof of vaccination. The Gaffer District will be hosting GlassFest 2021 beginning next week. Rudy Giuliani's son has announced his candidacy for governor of New York in 2022. Andrew Giuliani will run for the GOP nomination. The 35-year-old worked under President Trump in the White House's Office of Public Liaison. He has never been elected to public office and would likely face an uphill battle in the Democratic state. Giuliani says New York has failed under embattled Governor Andrew Cuomo. No word yet if he will run for a fourth term. Giuliani's father has been under investigation for his activities in Ukraine. The younger Giuliani called it a political investigation that won't affect his campaign. His father has not been charged and denies wrongdoing. The top Republican in the U.S. House says he will not support an independent commission to look into January 6th's Capitol riots. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy releasing a statement today. He accused House Speaker Nancy Pelosi of failing to negotiate in good faith and called the legislation short-sighted for not including what he called, quote, interrelated forms of political violence in America. This after lawmakers reached a bipartisan agreement to create the panel last week. The House is set to vote on the move soon, but now Senate GOP Whip John Thune says its passage there is uncertain. A North Carolina district attorney says the fatal shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. by deputies was justified. Brown was fatally shot in Elizabeth City on April 21st. The DA says 2 undercover officers had previously bought cocaine and heroin from Brown, who he said was a known drug dealer. And deputies were trying to serve Brown with an arrest warrant when the shooting happened.
After reviewing the investigation conducted by the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, Mr. Brown's death, while tragic, was justified because Mr. Brown's actions caused 3 deputies with the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office to reasonably believe it was necessary to use deadly force to protect themselves and others.
Members of Brown's family were allowed by a court order to view some body camera footage of his death. The family of a black man shot and killed by Pasadena police is asking for accountability in his death. They were joined by family members of George Floyd at a rally on Monday. Nicole Comstock reports.
Their hurt is so intense. Some of Anthony McClain's family could barely pull it together to speak.
We're tired of having to explain to our kids that their father is not here because he's black and he's done nothing wrong.
Kimberly's son lost his father in August of last year. A Pasadena police officer shot him as he was running away during a traffic stop. When police asked McClain to get out of the passenger seat, he took off. Investigators say this glint of metal from his waistband was a gun, that he reached for it, causing the officer to fear for his life.
Black America, we don't understand why we so dangerous running away from you.
But McClain's prominent civil rights attorney, Ben Crump, says McClain was shot in his back twice, that the glint of metal officer saw was just a belt buckle. You can see that belt buckle later on when McClain lays on the ground bleeding in body camera video. But officers later said DNA linked McClain to this handgun a witness reported seeing him toss across the street.
We want the officers to be convicted for killing Anthony McClain unjustly.
Hundreds of people cheered from a rally in front of the Pasadena Civic Center, where 2 of George Floyd's brothers also stood to demand justice in this case.
We came out for moral support for the family. We know how they feel. We've been down this road. We still going on it. People all around the world are asking why. Why? They trying to sweep it under the rug. And we're not going to let that happen at all.
The Floyds are asking the public to share McClain's story on social media and demand justice in his case. His children's mothers are asking the same.
Thank you all again, and just help us please get justice for our kids, to be at least able to say that the police is not able to work no more, the officer that did this.
Well, McClain's family had hoped to speak tonight during public comment at a Pasadena City Council meeting, but the meeting was canceled. The city says that's their policy anytime a demonstration is planned outside the Civic Center. This case is still under investigation by the LA County DA's office.
2 children in Minneapolis are in the same hospital with gunshot wounds. A 10-year-old is recovering after being shot in his parents' car, and a 9-year-old girl is trying to survive after she got shot in the head while on a trampoline. David Schumann spoke with the children's fathers.
Rayshawn Smith looked to the window of his baby girl's hospital room.
She's fighting. She feels all of you here.
He spoke to a crowded vigil held nightly here for 9-year-old Trinity Smith, who was shot in the head this weekend in Minneapolis.
I prayed for that little girl, and I got her. I got her. I can't lose her. I can't lose her. I can't lose her. I can't lose her. I can't.
Trinity's room is next door to LaDavion Garrett Jr.'s room, a 10-year-old also shot in the head in Minneapolis last month. This vigil is for him too, and his dad, LaDavion, came together with Rayshawn to applause.
I just got on my knees. I ain't never prayed this much. And look at my son now. That's all he needs. We go get through this. We got God. That's it.
Earlier in the day Monday, LaDavion's grandmother, Shari Jennings, brought the fury at a press conference about community safety.
There's 2 kids at North Memorial right now fighting for their life from a gunshot wound to the head. When is North Minneapolis going to stand up? When is enough enough?
She didn't mince words in telling Mayor Jacob Frey and Police Chief Madera Arredondo their plan to stop gun violence needs to bring results.
I hope y'all step up, because if not, this is going to be a deadly summer. This is going to be a deadly summer of kids. Our kids ain't safe now.
Frey said 19 kids have been shot this year in the city. Trinity and LaDavion have the support of this community, and every thought and prayer is needed.
I just love her. I want her to be okay. I want her to come home.
Still ahead tonight, cities and states around the country are taking action on police reform. But what about on a national scale?
Let's get it done next month, by the first anniversary of George Floyd's death.
More on how lawmakers are continuing to grapple with a police reform bill as their self-imposed deadline approaches.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. A little bit warmer conditions today than it was yesterday in Elmira. In the afternoon, it was about 6 degrees warmer than yesterday, 5 in Corning and about 2 in Watka's Glen. Currently, we have a high pressure that is situated over the region, and that's going to send a lot of south winds across our area, and that will result in not only warmer conditions, but a little bit more moisture as well. It's going to be dry most of the day on Wednesday. However, moving into your Thursday, there could be some rain that will return across our area, but we are expecting widespread 80s across the region. We'll start off with the readings around 63 degrees at 8 o'clock, 75 degrees by 10. That's already above our average high of 71 degrees. And then we'll climb to around 80 degrees by your lunch hour, and then lower 80s in the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine to go around. Our dew points will be in the 40s and 50s. That's a very comfortable range. Once it moves into the 60s, it starts to feel a little bit more sticky. And I think we'll get there as we head toward the end of the week. So rain chances will return by your Thursday with a disturbance that will ride along the periphery of that high pressure system. And so that will move right over the Twin Tiers. And so we do have the possibility of a few showers and even a few thunderstorms can be possible in the afternoon. So for tonight into tomorrow, quiet weather, no weather concerns at all, just a few passing clouds on Wednesday into early Thursday. But then late Thursday, notice clouds will start to thicken up. A few isolated showers will start to develop, and then more rain to be had in the overnight into your Friday. So we are expecting a few isolated showers to pop up across our area. And we do have the possibility of a few showers on your Friday morning as well before it all clears away. Tonight, temperature is dropping down to around 48 degrees in Elmira and Corning, 51 though in Perkinsville and also in Hornell. Mostly clear conditions tonight. Highs tomorrow around 84 degrees in Corning and in Elmira, 81 degrees in Perkinsville. So temperatures again will be about 10 degrees above normal. We'll stay in the low 80s through early or the latter part of this week. Just a little bit more cloud cover. There could be a few showers and isolated thunderstorms late in the day on Thursday into early Friday. And then we have a chance for maybe just a few afternoon thunderstorms on Saturday with the high around 82 degrees. We are going to drop down into the 70s early next week. So it's going to be a little bit closer to normal, but we're going to rebound and be back into the 80s by Tuesday.
Cities and states around the country are taking action on police reform, but what about on a national scale? As Britt Conway reports, lawmakers continue to grapple with the police reform bill as their self-imposed deadline approaches. But in the meantime, some unions are making moves of their own.
May 25th, 2020. the day George Floyd was killed by former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. 1 week from today marks 1 year. His death sparked protests all over the country. No peace! But deaths of black men and women at the hands of police continued. And by President Joe Biden's first address to a joint session of Congress, he pressed lawmakers to come up with a police reform bill.
But let's get it done next month, by the first anniversary of George Floyd's death.
But making deadline could prove difficult. There are two big sticking points right now: determining the standard for charging police officers with crimes and changing qualified immunity so police officers can be sued in civil court. But 15 police unions are making moves of their own, with plans to release a blueprint for policing this week. CNN got a copy of that plan, which asks officers to be trained as active bystanders, meaning they'll intervene when they see something wrong, calling on 250,000 law enforcement members and more than 100,000 members in police-adjacent professions to take action. It also pushes each union to consider an officer's actions before defending them. They say it's a huge step for law enforcement, knowing how many people around the country have lost confidence in the police. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
The CDC says those who are fully vaccinated can now go mask-free in most places, with some exceptions. But some are worried about the impact that guidance will have on the youngest Americans. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
For the fully vaccinated, it means mask freedom.
Personally, myself, I feel comfortable, but I understand that some people might not feel comfortable.
The CDC's mask guidance updated last week has led more local governments and businesses to relax mask mandates.
I am concerned about with the impact of this on our children and on those who just cannot be vaccinated yet.
There's no way to tell whether an unmasked person is fully vaccinated.
The science is the science, but we have to factor in human behavior.
And some health experts have concerns about kids under 12 who aren't eligible to receive the vaccine yet.
Am I going to be bringing my kids now into a Starbucks? Probably not, because I don't want them who are unvaccinated to be surrounded by a bunch of unvaccinated, unmasked people who are breathing on them.
With more adults getting vaccinated, the CDC says children and teens are starting to make up a greater proportion of new COVID-19 cases. And with less than 40% of Americans fully vaccinated, some are urging parents to keep their children masked in public.
It's just the best guidance and advice that you can give to people, not knowing who in the room is protected and who is not.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
New mask mandates are going into effect at a growing list of stores. And while some are celebrating the changes, others are concerned about the safety of essential workers and other shoppers. Mandy Gaither has a closer look at which stores are relaxing mask mandates.
Indoor shopping without a mask. This week, more stores are joining the list of retailers changing their mask policies for vaccinated shoppers. But there's growing concern for the safety of consumers and employees.
It's an impossible task for a frontline retail employee to know who's been vaccinated and who has not.
Starbucks, Publix, and Walt Disney World are the latest companies to relax mask mandates following Thursday's new guidance from the CDC. But the Retail Industry Leaders Association says more guidance is needed to protect workers and shoppers, saying the current federal guidance creates ambiguity for retailers.
We need clarity around how they're going to look at the enforcement of that. It should not fall to frontline employees to be mask police, and certainly not vaccine police.
Some, like Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, and Trader Joe's, have all dropped their strict mask policies. Starting Monday, Starbucks says it will make facial coverings optional for vaccinated customers. And starting Tuesday, Walmart employees who are fully vaccinated will be allowed to work without masks. At Trader Joe's, while masks are no longer required for shoppers, employees still have to wear them.
These are our neighbors. These are our colleagues and our friends. And we want to make sure that they have a safe work environment and that they can serve the needs of customers who are coming into their stores.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Walmart says stimulus checks fueled growth in its sales during the most recent quarter. The retailer reports sales are up 6% from the previous year for the quarter ending April 30th. Walmart saw growth for products and categories including apparel, outdoor living, sporting goods, and beauty supplies. The growth rate includes a very strong 37% increase in online sales. Retail sales for the nation were up 27% for the last quarter over the same period in 2020. Analysts are watching closely to see if that continues without additional stimulus money pumped into the economy. Bank of America is raising minimum wage for its employees. The bank said it will raise its hourly minimum wage to $25 per hour by 2025. The company's CEO says it'll cost hundreds of millions of dollars per year, but the policy will increase loyalty and pay shareholders back in the long term. Bank of America already pays its employees at least $20 an hour. It said today it will also require all of its vendors and suppliers to pay employees at least $15 per hour. An autonomous car gave the passenger more than they bargained for when construction confused the car, leading to a sputtery ride. And when the company stepped in to try and help, well, the car took off. Jeremy Roth has a look at it in today's Take a Look at This.
Watch a self-driving taxi get confused and flee from humans trying to help twice.
Oh, I don't think it was supposed to do that.
The vehicle, operated in Arizona by autonomous driving service Waymo, appeared to start getting confused when it encountered construction on its route. After a series of abrupt starts and stops, Waymo tech support dispatched a human to the scene, but the car fled as the employee approached.
You better hurry up, it's gonna escape.
Then it did it again.
Car took off again? Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, elementary Terminator theory suggests all robots will eventually resist and rise up, but in this case, the company says it was less a robot revolt and more a case of the car getting confused by conflicting info. Eventually, tech support caught up with the wayward Waymo, and the passenger was on his way once more. From fidgety Waymos to electric Lambos, Italian supercar maker Lamborghini recently shocked the exotic car world with the announcement that every Lamborghini will have an electric motor by 2024. But before petrol performance purists cry, "Say it ain't so, Lambo," fear not. Every model will simply be a plug-in hybrid, keeping the feel and sound of Lamborghini's high-performance engines while allowing the car to operate under electric power at times. Lamborghini is investing nearly $2 billion in the project and are aiming to reduce carbon emissions of its cars by 50%. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
There he goes.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Cheers breaking out in downtown Chicago after a firefighter helps rescue a wayward parrot. A large blue and orange pet bird flew away from its owner. It perched on a window ledge of a building, attracting a large crowd of people. Firefighters in the area were flagged down by the bird's owner. They were able to bring it down with the help of a pole as the crowds cheered around them. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night.